I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Colby and Chip and Ghosty. Okay, so this one is for the big homie Drew Legary. However, he said whoops, sorry babe. He said that if we're gonna sing him the happy birthday song, it needs to be a death metal style.
Oh, okay. Am
I supposed to just like kind of scream it like?
Okay.
Oh, try.
Okay. All right. Well, as you know, whenever it's somebody's birthday in the village, they got to get a happy birthday song.
Well, not whenever.
But Drew is one of our dudes.
Yep.
So, without further ado, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Drew Legary. Happy birthday. You.
There you have it. Your wish. You humiliated us in the public forum. But I hope you have the best birthday ever.
Ever! Drew Legary's one of the amazing leaders of one of our alliances. I think
Yes.
it's Extreme Underground, is it? Which
He jumps right in there.
I always get in trouble whenever I name these.
Just stop doing
the
that.
alliances.
He's one of the.
But he's one of our guys. We love him. We think he's great. There was a peach pit. Oh, the peach pit. I feel like that was the name of something. I forgot.
Speaking of fruit.
Okay.
So I was looking in the comment section, and like as I'm scrolling by, I see all of these capital letters, and I look. Oh man, if it's still pulled up, I'm just gonna read it to you guys. It's hilarious. So in the Hey You Pink Floyd reaction, apparently there was an orb that came right here. It is. At 6:57, did anyone see an orb? It's all capital letters. An orb swing around Vin's head. Holy shit! With a bunch of exclamation points. I do not believe in that stuff, but it's live in front of our eyes. Please check it out. Crazy spirits! With all these exclamation points. And I responded back, I'm like, bah! You made me laugh so hard. So Vin leaves a cup of orange juice in the office, so we have a bunch of fruit flies. It was a fruit fly! So if you want to check that out, that's in the Pink Floyd reaction video. It's at minute 6:57. You'll see the fruit fly that the interesting gentleman thought was a spirit going around Vin's head, but maybe this proves we're in the Illuminati. Okay. He's
I gotta do one of these. Guarantee you. I should do that for a shirt. Illuminati confirmed.
Yep.
All right, let's go. Carved in the Wind by Gorod.
Yes.
This is for the big homie Drew Legary.
What are you doing?
Oh, babe, we're the mouse. So when we're going through the lyrics,
over there.
I can't find it. What'd you do with it? Didn't I give it back to you?
I don't know. But the thing is, like, it's not really necessary because I thought we had it on this computer.
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah.
I like my lyrics like exactly where they are. They're right there. I can look at them. I can scroll while I'm listening to the music. All right.
I like my
For timely, topical,
like my
political
women.
commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori. Guaranteed to make somebody angry and upset.
Okay,
So,
let's start in on
there you
this.
go. Go.
Way too long of an introduction. Go.
Onto the ancient ways of power, alone to cast Cool.
did he tell you what the genre of metal this was?
Ooh.
Is it like technical death metal or something?
He didn't say it. He was too busy telling us what type of birthday song he wanted.
Okay.
So no, I don't know.
Yeah, these guys sounded like very technical.
Yeah.
Like they sounded like they were like they had all the counts like down like to a science. I bet you anything if we looked at the tablature, everything would be like completely symmetrical. Good stuff, guys.
Yeah.
It was really I enjoyed it. Sometimes when bands are mega technical, I really don't feel them, but it really opened up toward they kind of teased you in at the beginning, but it opened up toward the end.
Yeah, I liked it.
That's all.
Yep, I liked some of the instrument work that they were doing in it. Like I don't know. There was a part I should have time stamped it.
Why are you going back to that? Remember, I'm trying to get these lyrics, babe, and you're going back to the.
Here, let me do it.
What are you doing? It's right there.
Okay.
What are you doing? Okay. All right. So, what do you think the song was about?
I don't know. It seemed like I don't know if there's some mythical story that's going on here or if it's actual warriors that. But to me, I kept getting like it was like some mythical place, mythical thing going.
Well,
is it or what?
Okay, so Peron seems to be like the Slavic or Russian version of Thor or Zeus.
Okay.
But it seems to be the thunder god. And I think these guys, and then they mentioned, not Merovingians, they didn't mention them, they mentioned the ones that are dominating the river. See, I'm all messed up because my lyrics aren't where I wanted them. The Varangians. And the Varangians are, I'm confused about them actually. Are they Vikings that are in Russia, or are they the Russian version of the Vikings? They're like warriors, basically.
Okay, so it's true then?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is true. I mean, I don't know, but again, this seems to be part of the whole "this is our history" thing, type of thing. So I don't want to. I mean, I'm not going to say if it's true or if it's not true. I'm just saying that it's, there you go. So, the wild ones must be slain, vengeance fulfilled by the wrath of the great one, O Peron. Utter the ancient words of power, allow me cast a merciless doom upon them. May we strike them harder than the stone, let's remember. We must remind them holy power only belongs to us. So I don't know who they're fighting.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that they were fighting Christians. Because instead of doing what Jesus told us to do, which is to go as sheep among wolves, we showed up with a bunch of swords, and we know how the rest of that goes. So, especially when they use the term holy, you know what I mean? Like, that seems to be, we're the ones always running around talking about, how holy we are versus, other people. So, I think that one is, I think it's talking about, us.
Okay.
Because these guys
But they talked about the river. They always had control of the river.
Yeah.
So are they the
The Varangians is the way I look at it.
Okay.
Varangians. What about them?
Is that talking about them, and then the Christians come, like, and they go with the Christians and them are going?
Yeah.
So they're saying, basically you're saying, we always controlled the river, but here they are coming.
Right, it's time to prove it. It's time to prove it now. Let's go.
If they feel at one with the earth, which is weird because Christians don't usually say that they feel at one with the earth.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
If they feel at one with the earth, I promise they will soon be as one.
Yeah.
So this is probably another... These are probably actual pagans.
Yeah, probably.
Because pagan isn't, Christians kind of use it as a throwaway line, like, but pagans actually, a lot of it is about, the earth and oneness with the earth and going back to the earth and all that. So they were probably fighting some form of paganism. Okay, well, fine. Christians weren't bad guys this time. Yay! That's a crazy line then.
If they feel at one with the earth, I promise they will soon be as one.
Yeah, that's a good line. It's a good line.
Their lungs will be filled with mud and worms. That's gross.
Rumsfeld, well, it's going with the earth metaphor. Yeah. Rumsfeld had a couple good one-liners during the opening of the conflict after 9/11. For sure. Their lungs will be filled with mud and worms. They will drown in their own blood. Their bones will be consumed by flames, and their suffering will be engraved in the air.
Do you think it's interesting when he says,
Happy
let's
birthday,
remember?
Drew.
I know. Let's remember. We must remind them.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's let's remember who we are, so that we can remind them.
Yep.
It's good. Whoever is the lyricist in this band, he's a bad man. I like the way this guy writes, whoever he is. Whoever you are, big homie. Yeah, it's really interesting to see all the various, the correlation between art and warfare is insane.
Yep.
Yep. And so it's a very interesting thing to me about. I had to do some studying on it, the correlation between, well, it's music and killing. And specifically music and killing.
Really?
But there's art and warfare and all this, but that's one I had to. But like it's really, really interesting. Like you'll hear there's always a soundtrack. And it's very, very now of course like there was a lot of metal, although when one of the guys that was on the Bin Laden hit, he did a like an interview on the Atlantic, and he was listening to The Game, Let's Put Blood on the Ground, which he's a rapper.
Oh, okay.
Most guys are listening to some heavy metal, Bodies was a big one, let the bodies at the floor. But like this guy was, but everybody, like, it's weird, it's a strange thing, like it's something about music and there were different forms of it. Some of it was to calm you down before a battle, to level you out, because some of the ancient people thought that you had to be level, and especially like the Greeks, they were big on like you had to be clear and rational when you fought, because their movements were so complex.
Yeah.
So and some of the music was to intimidate the enemy. Some of the music was to, if guys were hanging in the back, then the music would play to force them back into. So, and then you had also, when you were sacrificing, well, not executing, they would play. So it's just very, very fascinating, the relationship between, art and music and killing and war.
Well, it's not just like physical war too, because even Christians, like in our theology, part of how we advance the kingdom is through worship, which includes music. Yeah.
Right. Music is a big.
And there was times in the Bible, like if where remember they weren't supposed to do anything; they just had to. It was just sound, and then that's how the battle. I'm pretty sure that they were worshiping. No, I wasn't talking about Jericho. There was a time where they won the battle by just like singing or something. They weren't supposed to do anything else. I'm not sure, you're maybe not familiar with that story. I'm gonna look that up. I used to think about it a lot years ago, so I'll look that up again, but Jericho was the same thing. They weren't supposed to fight, and the walls fell down. But
yeah, I mean, all these things where, we must remind them the holy power belongs to us, and none but the gods have decided, it's just the history of humanity, and the correlation between religion and music and warfare and human nature and all that good jazz. That line though is pretty crazy. Their suffering will be engraved in the air. That's a good line.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if it was engraved on a tree or something like that, then you could cut down the tree. But if it's in the air, that obviously means it's some sort of ethereal or metaphysical type of remembrance, And when you think about, God initially saying to Cain, "Your brother's blood is crying out." Like, if you could hear all the pain and the suffering
I think about that sometimes.
that all of us have done to one another, from the ground and from the air, that, I wonder what that would sound like. Like if you just line them all up, from it's a pretty crazy idea, like. And so, like, as a warrior, you sing songs like this and you make statements like this, and it's like, what are you saying? But you kind of have to push yourself beyond your humanity, and that's why a lot of that material goes like to the next level. I was talking to 275 Ranger on. There's this thing on killing. It's not. There's a book called On Killing that was required reading, but there was also an interview series about guys who had gone to Iraq and their first kill and all this. And so there was this one guy that was talking about, you know, his first kill, and he was very excited. And he was happy, and he was, you know, I wish I could go back, and da 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 da. And it was the best time of my life, and yada yada yada. And everybody was really angry at him. And, you know, the point is like...
Who was angry at him?
Well, the audience was very turned off by it because if you've never been in that type of subculture that celebrates killing, you know, he says there's nothing more manly than having a bunch of birds above you while you go out to go and you know, kill people. So, obviously, people were like, oh my gosh, yada yada yada. But, you know... there's kind of like a hidden resentment that a lot of people who've engaged in combat have that a lot of people don't realize, and it basically goes like this. So if he had a nervous breakdown while he was talking about killing these dudes, and then he had PTSD for killing these dudes, he'd be like, oh, that's terrible, blah blah blah, pray for the soldiers, thank you for your service, right? But now the guy comes back and he's saying, I loved it. It's not traumatic at all that I had to kill those people. I'm good. I wish I'd have killed more of them. And he's basically happy with his life. Now he's a bad guy. So it's like, so you'd rather him have PTSD and want to jump off a bridge? Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. Something is going to change up here when you commit that act. And it's the loneliest feeling ever to know that, you know, so...
To know that what?
But, so I'm just sitting here and they're like celebrating all this horror, like, oh, they're gonna cry and da-da-da-da, and it's almost kind of like psychologically saying, we're about to inflict this on these people, you're gonna hear this stuff. So instead of being traumatized by it, let's celebrate it. And let's make that our badge of honor, so that you kind of front load the trauma. And that's how that's how a lot of people. Wow. That's how. So it's clear to me that that's how that guy was dealing with it.
Yep.
And then you got a whole bunch of people who've never been in that guy's situation, judging him. You know, and then of course the resentment that a lot of guys don't talk about is, oh, so you'd rather him be, you know, all tore up and ripped apart by it. It's the same thing with Chris Kyle. You know, he said no. He talked about killing a kid, and for the first time he killed a kid, the kid picked up a weapon to go kill one of his guys. So he put it behind his ear. He's done. And you know, people, oh, you're a monster. Da da da. It's like we have no idea what we're calling these people to do, and what we're calling these people to carry, and what we're calling these people to live with. Yeah. Like we have no idea. So we're judging these people for celebrating and ginning up this bloodlust, but it's clear to me what's happening here is that actually when you go into war, you have to pretend that both sides are not image bearers of God. So you have to completely lose the humanity of the other guy, which is why you call them Krauts or Sammys in Somalia, or you know, whatever. You just got to come up with some name. So you've got to lose the image of God in the other guy, and then you have to lose the image of God in yourself, because you have to lose the compassion that you would have when you hear the cry of agony and things. You've got to. That's completely not who you. Doesn't matter unless you're a complete and utter evil psychopath, which is less than 1% of 1% of the population. When you hear that cry from that other human being, your instinct is to help them. Wow. It's not to. So you've got to pretend that you're not that. No, I want you to pay more. And, you know, so you know, unless you have a personal issue with the guy, like a Bin Laden, where, you know, you got dead checked 35 times or whatever. But most people don't have a personal problem with the person they're fighting. And so, as a matter of fact, you feel a lot more camaraderie with that guy than with the fucking, you know, hippie, self-righteous
No, it makes sense.
Guy in, fucking in Starbucks writing his article about you when his hardest decision is whether or not he's gonna have, 2 creams or 3 creams in his coffee. Meanwhile, your hardest decision is whether you're gonna kill this little kid or let this little kid kill your buddy,
right,
who's the father of a little kid who will not have his dad because you decided to feel bad for this little kid. So, I'm just listening to what they're saying, and they're celebrating all this stuff. Yeah, their agony is going to be ash in the sky. Da, da, da. It's like, we're going to permanently traumatize this region, is basically what they're saying. And it looks like they're celebrating it, but to me, it just looks like a defense mechanism
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
To deal with your conscience. And then the music and the melody can kick in, so that it kind of functions. Anytime that drip of conscience comes in, that melody can come in and take it away. So, tough,
well said.
Tough stuff, but good lord, good song though. They've got a really unique sound. I can't really put my finger on it, but their technical prowess is well noted. Put rate to song.
9.3 for me.
It's a 9.3 as well. Good song.
There you go.
You shall eat man flesh. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. Happy birthday, big homie. Much love to you. That how you do the heart?
Not really, but kind
You're important to us. You're very important to us. Good day.